Found out my wife cheated with my best friend. She lied for years. Until one night she finally confessed everything. What I did next changed everything. I need to tell this story while it's still fresh, while I can still remember every detail of how I dismantled 2 lives with the same precision I used to build shopping centers. I'm Garrett Morrison, 34, commercial real estate developer. Until 6 months ago, I was married to Brooke, 32, an interior designer who built her reputation on my projects. Wade Hutchinson, 35, was my best friend since college and a civil engineer whose firm I fed consistent contracts. Note the past tense. 3 years ago, things started shifting in my marriage. Subtle at first, Brooke suddenly needed space, developed interests in art galleries I knew she found pretentious, started having wine nights with clients that ran past midnight. Wade began declining our regular golf games, citing project deadlines that I knew didn't exist because I was literally funding those projects. The human brain is exceptional at pattern recognition, but we're equally gifted at denial. I told myself I was being paranoid. Brooke had always been independent. Wade was probably just stressed about his growing firm. I buried myself deeper in my work, closed 3 major deals, and pretended the foundation wasn't cracking. 2 months ago, on our 8th anniversary, I took Brooke to Carmen's, the Italian place where we'd had our first date. She ordered a bottle of Barolo, then another. By the 3rd glass, her eyes were glassy, and she kept touching her phone. I asked if everything was okay. I can't do this anymore. Those words hit different when you've been expecting them. Your body knows before your mind admits it. My pulse stayed steady. I set down my fork, leaned back, and waited. I've been seeing Wade. Still steady. How long? 3 years. 3 years. 1,095 days of deception. But here's what happened in my mind, not devastation, not rage, but clarity. Absolute, crystalline clarity. Every late meeting, every weekend conference, every time Wade couldn't make our plans, it all clicked into place like tumblers in a lock. I need you to understand, she continued, tears streaming. You were always gone. Always focused on the next deal, the next project. Wade saw me. Really saw me. We didn't mean for it to happen. I nodded, poured her another glass of wine. Tell me everything. And she did. Every detail. How it started after a charity gala I'd been too busy to attend. How they'd been using my vacant properties, units I was developing, for their meetings. How she'd fallen in love with him. How they'd discussed leaving their spouses but couldn't find the courage. I let her talk. Let her purge her guilt while I memorized every word. She thought she was unburdening herself. She was actually handing me ammunition. What happens now? She asked. I need time to process this. She reached for my hand. I let her take it. I know you hate me right now. I don't hate you, Brooke. True statement. Hate requires emotional investment. What I felt was the same thing I feel when I identify a bad investment, the need to cut losses and maximize recovery. We went home. She passed out in our bed. I went to my office and began planning. First move, documentation. I backed up her entire phone while she slept. She used the same passcode for everything, her birth date. Amateur mistake. 3 years of texts, photos, emails. They'd been sloppy, discussing their meetings in detail, sending pictures from my properties. Wade had actually sent her a key to one of my units. My unit. Second move, legal consultation. The next morning, I told Brooke I needed space and went on a business trip to Columbus. Instead, I met with Richardson, the attorney who'd handled my father's estate. We spent 6 hours reviewing Oregon's divorce laws, asset protection, and documenting infidelity. Oregon is a no-fault state, but infidelity matters when there's financial misconduct involved. And there was plenty. Third move, private investigator. Seems redundant after a confession, but Richardson insisted on professional documentation. The PI, a former forensic accountant, found what I'd missed. They'd opened a joint credit card, been planning a future. Wade had been siphoning money from our joint projects into a private account. Not much, maybe $50,000 total, but enough to establish a pattern of deception. Fourth move, Wade. I texted him that Wednesday, need to review the Riverside project. Your office, 8 p.m. He knew. The moment I walked in, he knew. His face went through the entire spectrum: surprise, guilt, defiance, fear. Garrett, let me explain. No need. I set my phone on his desk, already recording. I know about the 3 years. I know about using my properties. I know about the $50,000 you've been skimming. That's not, I wasn't skimming. Those were consultation fees you never declared. That you deposited in an account your wife doesn't know about. The same account you used to buy jewelry for my wife. His engineering brain was calculating angles, but there weren't any. I had him cornered. What do you want? Nothing. I wanted to look you in the eye and tell you what's coming. You have 12 hours to tell Simone everything. If you don't, I will. And Wade? When I tell her, I'll include the parts Brooke doesn't know about. Like your assistant, Melissa. Or that escort service you billed to our Riverside project. His face went white. How did you? 3 years, Wade. You think you were careful? You used my properties. My projects. My money. Every transaction left a trail. You can't prove. Check your email. He opened his laptop. I'd sent him everything. Every receipt, every photo, every text. His hands actually shook. This will ruin me. Yes. My kids will know their father is a fraud. Unless you tell Simone yourself. Tonight. She deserves to hear it from you, not me. I stood to leave. He grabbed my arm. Garrett, please. We were friends. Brothers. We were. Then you spent 3 years sleeping with my wife in buildings I own while charging me consultation fees to fund it. I left him there, staring at his laptop screen. Update number 1, 3 days later. The responses to my original post were mixed. Some called me cold, calculating. Others said I should have been more aggressive. Let me clarify something. Destruction requires precision. I'm not interested in violence or screaming matches. I'm interested in results. Wade didn't tell Simone. I knew he wouldn't. Cowards never choose the hard path. So I invited Simone for coffee. Told her I had concerns about Wade's involvement in some project irregularities. She came thinking it was about business. I handed her a folder. Inside, everything. The credit card statements, the escort service records, photos of Wade and Brooke entering my properties, timestamps showing when he was supposedly at conferences. She didn't cry. Didn't scream. She looked through every page methodically, then closed the folder. How long have you known? 4 days. Brooke? Confessed. Thought honesty would save her. Simone laughed. Actually laughed. She always was naive. Thank you for this. There's more. Wade's been using company funds inappropriately. If you need it for the divorce, I'll need everything. I gave her my Pi's contact information. She left with the folder and a flash drive containing backups. Meanwhile, Brooke was living in our house, thinking we were working through things. I'd been sleeping in the guest room, playing the part of the processing husband. She'd even started therapy, sending me articles about rebuilding trust. During this time, I was systematically dismantling her life. Her design firm, Winter's Interior Design, looked successful from the outside. What nobody knew was that I'd been floating it for 2 years. She had talent but no business sense. I'd been covering her office lease through one of my LLCs, guaranteeing her business credit line, and feeding her every major contract through my developments. I terminated the lease agreement, legally, with proper notice. Informed the bank I was withdrawing my guarantee on her credit line. Contacted my pending projects and informed them I was switching design firms. She wouldn't notice immediately. These things take time to process. But in 30 days, her world would implode. Update number 2, 1 week later. Wade tried to salvage things with Simone. She kicked him out anyway. He showed up at my office, desperate. You destroyed my marriage. You destroyed your marriage. I just provided evidence. Simone's taking everything. The house, the kids, half my business. Half? Generous of her. This isn't funny. I'm not laughing. He sat down uninvited. Brooke doesn't know, does she? About what you're doing? Brooke thinks we're in counseling. You're sick. I'm practical. You took 3 years to destroy my life. I'm returning the favor in 3 weeks. I'll tell her. Go ahead. Tell her that her lease is terminated. That her credit line is gone. That her contracts are cancelled. Speed up my timeline. He didn't tell her. He was too busy trying to save his engineering firm. See, word travels in our industry. When 3 major developers suddenly drop the same engineering firm, people ask questions. When the senior partner's wife starts divorce proceedings citing infidelity and financial misconduct, people draw conclusions. When that same partner's been using project funds for personal expenses, clients get nervous. His phone started ringing with cancellations. I know because he texted me, begging me to call them off. Just let me rebuild, Garrett. I have kids. So did I metaphorically. My business was my child, and you used it as a motel. The beautiful thing about revenge is patience. Most people want immediate gratification. They want the explosive confrontation, the dramatic scene. I wanted total decimation. That requires time. Update number 3, 2 weeks later. Brooke noticed the first crack when a client called asking why her office was listed for lease. There must be a mistake, she told me that evening. I'll call tomorrow and sort it out. Probably a clerical error, I agreed. The next day, her credit line was frozen. The bank needed to review terms given the change in guarantee status. Did you adjust something with your accounts? She asked. Been restructuring some assets. Might have affected a few things. I'll look into it. She believed me. Still thought we were rebuilding. She'd been going to therapy twice a week, reading relationship books, cooking elaborate dinners. Playing the reformed wife while I played the considering husband. Her mother's birthday was that Sunday. Family gathering at their country club. Brooke begged me to attend. It would mean so much. Show them we're working through things. Of course I'll come. I hired the process server myself. Specified the exact time, 2 p.m., during the champagne toast. That morning, Brooke wore the dress I'd bought her for our 5th anniversary. She held my hand in the car, talked about fresh starts. I know I destroyed us, she said. But we can build something better. We'll definitely build something new, I agreed. Her family welcomed me warmly. Her father, Richard, pulled me aside. I'm proud of you, son. Working through this. Many men would have just walked away. I believe in seeing things through to the end. At 2 p.m., Richard raised his glass for the birthday toast. The process server walked in, asked for Brooke Morrison, and handed her the envelope. She looked at me, confused. Opened it. Her face went from confusion to shock to rage. You're divorcing me? Here? Now? You slept with my best friend for 3 years. The location seems appropriate. The room went silent. Richard lowered his glass. What is he talking about? Her mother demanded. Brooke tried damage control. It's not we were going to counseling. Garrett, please. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the club's AV system. I'd arranged this with the manager beforehand, he owed me a favor, and played her confession. Her voice filled the room, detailing every betrayal. Turn it off, Richard said quietly. I did. The room stayed silent. 3 years? Her mother finally said. 3 years of lying to everyone? Mom, you don't understand. With Wade? That Wade who comes to Christmas? Whose children play with our grandchildren? Brooke looked around the room for support. Found none. Her sister stepped away from her. Her brother-in-law shook his head. Richard walked over to me. I'm sorry, son. I didn't raise her to be this. Then he turned to Brooke. Leave. Dad. Leave. Now. She looked at me one more time. You planned this. For 2 weeks. You planned yours for 3 years. I'm just more efficient. Update number 4, 3 weeks later. The divorce was swift. Oregon's no-fault status meant she'd get half of marital assets, but here's what Brooke didn't understand. Most of our visible wealth wasn't marital. The house? I'd bought it before we married, kept it in a trust. She had no claim. My business holdings? Separate property, never commingled. The cars? Leased through my company. The joint accounts? I'd been careful to only deposit my salary, not my distributions or bonuses. The accounts had maybe $30,000 total. Her lawyer tried to argue lifestyle maintenance, but that requires the spouse to be unable to support themselves. Brooke had a business. On paper, it looked successful. The fact that I'd been propping it up wasn't documented in any way that created marital property. She got $15,000 from the accounts, her personal belongings, and her car, which she'd bought before we married. That's it. This isn't fair, she told me outside the courthouse. 8 years of marriage and I get nothing? You got 3 years with Wade. That seemed to be worth more to you than our marriage. I have nothing. My business is gone, my family won't speak to me. Consequences. You're enjoying this. I'm indifferent. That's worse, isn't it? You betrayed everything we built, and I don't even hate you enough to enjoy your suffering. She tried one last manipulation. I loved you. I still do. We could try. No. Wade's situation was worse. Simone had filed for divorce with cause, documenting infidelity and financial misconduct. In Oregon, that matters when children are involved. She got primary custody, the house, and 60% of assets. But the real destruction was professional. Wade's firm hemorrhaged clients. His business partners voted him out. His reputation was destroyed. He tried to start a new firm, but nobody would work with him. Word had spread about the embezzlement, the escorts, the use of client properties for affairs. He called me last week. I'm leaving Oregon. Starting over in Kansas. My brother has work for me there. Good luck. You won. You destroyed everything. I revealed everything. You destroyed it yourself. We were brothers, Garrett. No. Brothers are loyal. Final update, 6 months later. I'm writing this from my new office, overlooking the Portland waterfront. The Riverside project that started all of this? It's breaking ground next month. Wade's former partner is handling the engineering. He's grateful for the opportunity and the inside knowledge of Wade's mistakes. Brooke moved back with her parents in Eugene. Last I heard, she was working at a boutique, trying to rebuild. Her social media is gone, her design portfolio offline. She sends occasional texts asking if we can talk. I don't respond. Wade is in Kansas, working for his brother's small firm. Simone and the kids are thriving. She sent me a thank you card last month. Just 2 words, for everything. My business has never been better. Turns out, removing toxic elements improves everything. I've closed 6 major deals since the divorce, including one that Wade had been trying to get for 2 years. His former clients prefer working with someone they can trust. I'm in therapy, not because I'm damaged, but because I want to understand how I missed the signs for so long. My therapist says I have remarkable emotional regulation and an unusual ability to compartmentalize. She's not wrong. People ask if I'm dating. The answer is no. Not because I'm broken or bitter, but because I'm enjoying the clarity of solitude. I built an empire while carrying 2 parasites. Imagine what I can build carrying nothing but ambition. Some commenters will say I went too far. That I should have just divorced and moved on. But here's the thing about betrayal, it's not just about the act. It's about the 1,000 small lies that preceded it. Every kiss goodbye while planning to meet him. Every I love you while texting another man. Every night in our bed while wishing it was his. They spent 3 years building their deception. I spent 3 weeks methodically dismantling it. They made calculated choices to destroy our lives. I made calculated choices to return the favor. The difference? I was better at it. Brooke thought her confession would cleanse her conscience. Wade thought his friendship would protect him. They both learned that when you build your happiness on someone else's foundation, you better make sure they never find out. Because when they do, they might just pull the whole thing down. My father once told me that success is the best revenge. He was wrong. Success is just success. The best revenge is precise, complete, and leaves your enemies unable to respond. It's not about anger or hatred. It's about balance. They took 3 years from me. I took everything from them. And you know what? I sleep perfectly at night. To those facing similar betrayals, here's my advice: don't react emotionally. Document everything. Protect your assets. Consult professionals. And when you're ready to strike, make sure it's decisive. Leave no room for recovery. Scorched earth might seem extreme, but sometimes you need to burn everything down to build something better. They betrayed the wrong person. I don't forgive. I don't forget. I demolish. And I do it legally, methodically, and completely. Welcome to the ruins of what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness and patience for ignorance. Edit. Since several people have asked, yes, this is legal. Everything I did was within my rights as a property owner, business owner, and spouse. I consulted lawyers at every step. Revenge doesn't have to be illegal to be complete. Edit 2. To those saying I'm heartless, perhaps. But I'd rather be heartless than spineless. They made their choices. I made mine. The difference is, I made better ones. Final edit. Brooke found this post. She texted asking how I could be so cruel as to share our story publicly. I reminded her it stopped being our story the moment she chose to share our bed with another man. Besides, I didn't use real names. If people figure out who she is, that's because her actions were memorable, not because my words were specific. She said she's considering legal action for defamation. My lawyer laughed for 5 solid minutes when I told him. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Everything I wrote here is documented, evidenced, and verified. You can't sue someone for describing exactly what you did. To Wade, if you're reading this from Kansas, you once told me that the best foundations are built on trust. You were right. And when you crack a foundation, the whole structure comes down. You cracked mine, so I demolished yours. The difference between us? I rebuilt stronger. You just collapsed. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.